Good day and greetings from the Great White North. My name is Prickly Poo and welcome to day 206 of A Year of Change. Today we're going to get back on track and sort of continue in what we've been doing for the past few weeks and add another YouTuber to our little adventuring party. Today I'm going to add someone in that, once again, we're going to sort of go back to the people that are just starting out. And today it hasn't exactly just started. It's a lot like Mercedes that we had added in a few weeks ago. This is someone that has tried a couple of times to sort of get things going, get that support, and just it's sort of another attempt to kickstart the weight loss. And it's something that we've all done, not necessarily with YouTube, but it's something that we've all done at some point, like just in the dozens, probably, that it's never really your first attempt that actually clicks in for you. We have tried diets and we've tried, joining gyms. We've tried going to separate programs like Weight Watchers or Slimming World or whatever it is that you decide to join. It's very rare that someone says, you know what, I'm going to try to lose weight, and then just they do it the first time out of the gate. Because it's not something, there are some people that will say, well, just stop eating and exercise more. We have done that. We know that. And that's pretty much sort of what we've been doing for the past 6 months. Just eat less, do more. But as we've seen over the past 6 months, it is almost 7 now. It's much more complicated than that. It's not just simply a matter of saying, oh, well, then I'll put the fork down and then I'll go join the gym. If it was, then none of us would be fat. So it's one of those things that, we've all tried multiple times, and it's never going to be the very first time that actually allows you to lose weight. So it's one of those things that, I keep saying one of those things. I feel like I'm going in a circle already. Look at that, 2 minutes in, already completely screwed up this. Anyway, I'm going to keep on going. Fuck it. So it's one of those things that, we've tried diets. From the time I was a little kid, I've been on a diet of one sort or another. And we've tried diets, which of course don't work because we go back to our eating habits and then we gain the weight back, or else we say, oh, well, I'm going to start joining the gym. And then we go and we try to do too much too soon. And whether you're looking at when you first start gaining weight or when you're first starting to lose weight, there is sort of that cycle that goes along with it that, when you start eating too much, of course, you get tired and then you don't do anything. So you gain weight, which makes you more tired, and then you eat more because your stomach is growing, and it keeps going that way. And when you're trying to lose weight, and usually what ends up happening is that you say, no, this is it. This is the year. I'm going to go join the gym. I'm going to start losing weight. And you go, and it's exhausting. And we just are so not used to it. And we'll join a gym, and which of course causes a whole mess of pain and issues and everything else. And then we just go, it's too much. And then you just sort of go back into it. And of course, there's that emotional and psychological aspect of it as well. No one is obese because of hunger. I don't know of anyone that goes, yeah, I'm fat because I'm just always hungry. There obviously are some people that is the main reason. I think it's actually in one of the documentaries that we showed. It may not be in there yet. Anyway, there was one. We'll have to take a look at it later, but maybe we'll do it this week. Where it was a person and they had like pica or something like that. Pica is when you eat odd things like gyprock and snail shells and sandpaper. But they're just constantly hungry. They didn't have any of those detectors in your mouth and your stomach and your brain and everything else telling you that you're full. So they were just constantly hungry. I'm not talking about something like that. That is, there's no way that, 2/3 of the population suffers from that. So what I mean is that the vast majority of us, probably 99% or more of us, we are the way we are because of emotional and psychological problems. It's not a hunger issue. And so it's difficult when someone says, well, you need to go lose weight, so do this and this. It's like, well, there's that underlying root of the problem that we need to deal with first before we can actually, or at least address it before we actually start going, well, good enough, I can just start losing weight. So, part of that is why I started YouTube as well. Just having that accountability is one of those things that has helped I've stuck with it for 6 or 7 months. And, while I have not had successes every week, in general, there has been progress over the past few months. So, and as we discussed this weekend, it's one of those things that, mainly yesterday, that I really need to get back into properly. Because it just seems like it's been, in the past couple of weeks, sort of going, yeah, I can kind of do what I want. Which I really can't. Anyway. But this, actually, if I gave you his name's Chris Hutton. I was going to say Chris Sutton, which is going to sound weird, but Chris Hutton. And he's started in on YouTube a couple of times, saying, this is the first one. I'm going to try to do this each week. And then, of course, real life gets involved. And then, you start again. So much like going to the gym or starting a diet, sometimes it does take a couple of times to get things going. And the main reason why we've sort of stuck with it this way is, or why I have anyway, is because I need to have that same schedule every single day. So especially at this point, if I miss a day, I'm completely screwed all the way around. It would drive me nuts forever. I'd have to start everything all over again and re-upload as things go. But he's started out and, just giving updates on progress and saying what has been going on and things like that. But the main reason why I sort of wanted to add him in today is because there is that same attitude that we have, that we understand that we are the way we are because of us. There may be underlying emotional problems and psychological issues that are going along with it. And, we may be an emotional eater. We may be one of those people that binges. We might be just someone who just eats shit all the time. But, like, junk food, not actually, going back to Pika, not actual feces, just so that we know. But it's one of those things that, he does address that in the beginning. He says, yes, this is, our behavior that's causing this. But in the same vein, he also, actually in the video that I'm going to be putting up in the playlist, he actually does address this with people because it's sort of another one of those, we don't understand why. I can understand why people would look at us and go, it's a shame they've let themselves go. But there seems to be that underlying disdain for us. That, hatred for fat people. And it's, again, one of those things where people they don't seem to get it. And they'll say, well, then, stop eating so much and go to the gym. And they don't understand. And he does ask something, which is, it's odd that we haven't really addressed it. Well, we have from time to time. But he does say, it's one of those things people don't understand. I keep saying it's one of those things. People don't understand. We don't choose to be this way. In a way, we kind of do because of our behavior and things like that, and because we are the ones that are going to buy the food and eat it. But when we look at ourselves in the mirror, how we feel about ourselves, we don't choose to look this way. Nobody in their right mind would decide to get up someday and say, I want to be morbidly obese. I want to, go through the emotional pain of it, the physical aspects. I want all the health problems that go along with it. I want to be ridiculed by people. We would never choose this. So it is one of those things that, yes, we absolutely hate being the way that we are. But, there is sort of that argument to say, well, you can't just hate yourself. You need to, well, yeah, but realistically speaking, we do. But it's difficult to explain to someone when you say, well, I just hate the way I am. And then have them look at you and say, well, then do something about it. Well, we are. But it's not as easy as just putting the fork down. And we know that. If it was, none of us would be fat. 2/3 of the population of, the Western world is obese now. It's not because we just can't put the fork down. Or not that, because we won't put the fork down, I should say. But there is that, there is that outlook of it that it is an eating disorder. Because normally when you think of an eating disorder, it's usually the other end of the scale, where it's, people that are anorexic or bulimic. With us, it's kind of like bulimia, except we don't purge. We still hate ourselves. We still hate the way that we look. And, that contributes to it. But I've said this so many times that all food is comfort food for us. And so we'll go for, whatever is there. Whether it's, salty foods or cheesy snacks or cakes and cookies or just quantity of food, which is my main issue, that's what, at the moment anyway, that's what alleviates that. That's what says it's good enough. I hate myself. I hate everything about it. So I'm depressed. So I'm just going to eat. which we know in our head is one of those things that it's like someone saying, I hate the way that my eyebrows look, so I'm going to just dye them pink. It makes things so much worse, and we know that it's going to make things worse. And even when you're sitting there eating whatever you're eating, hating yourself and, scarfing it down and going, this is why I'm fat. At the moment, you don't care. You just say, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I just want to eat and forget everything. And it really is like a drug. We've talked about that before as well, that addiction that goes along with it. But that immediate gratification seems to outweigh that long-term benefit of getting rid of the weight and, just feeling bad about ourselves. But it is something that he does address in there, and it's kind of nice. There is that same responsibility there as well. He's not just saying, this isn't my fault. He's saying, yes, of course it is, but I don't choose to be this way. If I could have my choice, then yes, it would be much easier. We could stop what we're doing. We could lose the weight. We could stop eating so much. It would be so much better for us all the way around, which is why we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to get to a point where we're a healthy weight, where we can react to food like a normal human being would. I was going to say an average, but we are the average now, which is kind of scary. But, and we've talked about this, that there are contributing factors to it. But when it comes right down to it, it's our behavior that causes it. And so he does acknowledge that. But I'm getting a little bit off target here. The main reason why I wanted to add him in there is, because when we're first starting out, it's difficult to just sort of get that ball rolling. And we've tried, dozens of different things. We've tried diets, we've tried joining gyms, which he's done as well. And it's just, I think a lot of it is that we do too much too soon. And which is why we've gone so slowly over the past 6 months with this, is so that we know we're going to be able to stick with it, because we've made such tiny, tiny changes over a long term. And it is helping. It's not going as quickly as, we would like, but it is progressing, and that's the main thing. So when you're first starting out in something like this, it is difficult, because this is something new for a lot of us, that we are saying, well, maybe the accountability is going to help, so that I have someone that I can talk to and say, well, here's what I've done, this is good, this is the bad, but there's also that sense of reaching out for that sense of community that we've been trying to build with this, in that you're not alone. There are hundreds of us out there, not necessarily watching right now, but there are a lot of us out there that are trying to do the same thing. And that we have tried, multiple, what's the word I'm looking for? Methods, there we go. Couldn't think of the word. Multiple methods of losing weight, whether it's the gym or whether it's, our attitude towards food. I'm not a big fan of the diets like the Atkins and keto and paleo and all the other stuff, because it's not something that's really sustainable. You're not going to be able to eat, a high protein, no carb diet for the rest of your life. So, I try to not exactly discourage, because honestly, whatever's going to work is going to work. If that's what you've gone through, like that's what you've been doing for the past, 2-3 weeks, and it's working for you, then, you can certainly adapt that so that you can say, yes, I need to turn it into something that's more sustainable. So, this is just sort of another aspect of it. Not necessarily that, YouTube is going to be one of those things that, like, well, YouTube helped me lose weight. But in conjunction with, fixing our eating habits and slowly and surely starting with even just small amounts of movement, whether it's just a matter of you moving your arms and then, escalating up to, okay, I'm going to add a 5-pound weight or something like that. Whatever it is that you've been doing to get you to this point where you've noticed that there is a change there, then fine. Whatever is working is working. It's not that YouTube's going to help people lose weight, but it's just another added aspect of it that could possibly help. And that's the thing. Having something in there that's going to contribute to it, it's just like the bad habits, there are some contributing factors to actually that having that success. And some of that is just knowing that you're not alone out there, that there are other people out there that are in the same situation that want to lose weight, whether they've been successful or not. Whether it's someone that you can lose weight alongside with, or whether it's someone that's already lost the weight and that you can sort of go and say, what, I know that it's possible. That is going to help as well. So I've sort of gone off track here. I know this has turned into a bit of a almost like a scolding, actually. But I'm going to put the main video that I want to put into the playlist is the one where he does address, why people seem to have such animosity towards us. And it's not his most recent one. His most recent one was he had just put up less than a week ago. So hopefully this will be something that he's going to keep on doing, things like that. And it'd be nice so that we can go up, show our support, and let them know that we are out there. That there are other people that are going through the exact same thing. That we understand what it's like. We understand how hard it is to just say I can't eat that right now. I gotta stop, or the pain that you go through when you're going to the gym, not just physically, when you're coming back and going, I haven't used those muscles in forever. But just even that self-consciousness of going to a public place where you feel, oh, well, people are going to stare at me. I mean, yes, they know. I mean, they have proof. They have proof that you are doing something to improve yourself. But it doesn't help all the time when you're in there, just because we're so used to being self-conscious and we've heard what people have said. We've dealt with it for years. So, and whether or not we actually hear it, there is that aspect of it that is, you suspect that they're all saying it anyway. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's that paranoia that sort of comes along with that, which is why I don't do the gym thing. Eventually, I will. Once I get to a point, and it's getting close to that now, where I'm going, the treadmill is fine, but I'm thinking I need to add in a couple of other things in there as well. But it's a little way down the road. I'm not quite ready for that yet. But anyway, whether it's a food-related thing or an exercise-related thing, knowing that there are people out there that that get it, that they understand how difficult it is, that is going to help, I think, more than anything else. But having these videos, I think, for me anyway, does help. And I'm hoping that at some point out there is someone out there that it's helping them as well. That if you're watching this and you've been following along for the past few months, that you're seeing the same progress. That because those changes you've been able to stick with them, came out like Yoda. If you've been able to stick with the changes that we've been making, that you are seeing some progress, and that you'll notice it does sort of start speeding up, because it was very slow for the first couple of months, and then it just sort of picked up speed and then continued on that way. So, that's the main thing, is that if we can put something out there that's going to help other people, and the same thing is, I think it's not just a matter of someone saying, well, I'm going to put this out so that I can update you on what I'm doing. There is that inherent, and I say this on every YouTube person that I add anyway, but there is that sort of that desire to get out there to say, start a discussion, start talking back and forth. This could help someone else, not just me, but some other person. And that's one good thing with this, is that when we're all sort of banded together and we all understand that it's not as simple as just putting the fork down and joining a gym, that we have that outlook that is sort of unique just to us, not just as fat people, but just as individuals. That my experience for dealing with my obesity is not going to be the same as Chris's. It's not going to be the same as Kimonica. It's not going to be the same as any of the people that we have on the channel. It's going to be something that is different just for us, but it's not going to be so unique that we won't be able to share that with other people and have someone somewhere down the line make that connection and go, I get it. And if that's what it's going to take to sort of help someone, just so that, they feel, even if it's something just, on YouTube, that they can have someone that's going to be able to say, you know what, I get it. You're not alone. You're not crazy. It is difficult. And, you share that with them, then maybe that's what's going to be the one thing that's going to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to keep trying. Because, there's someone else out there that gets it, that they understand. So you can talk to that person and say, I'm having a really shitty day. I'm having a tough time this way. Or in my case, where it was Thanksgiving weekend and everything just went to hell in a handbasket, then at least, there's someone out there that's going, I did the exact same thing at Christmas. So, but anyway, this has turned into a really long one. I'm sorry. 20 minutes almost. Look at that. All right, we're going to sort of cut things short. So, his name is Chris Sutton. You can go up, take a look. He's got quite a few videos up there already. And it's just sort of following along with the progress and things like that. And real life does sort of interfere from time to time. But he's actually got a book out as well. So he's got a book on Amazon now. So it's so at least we know. Okay, well, it's not just a matter of just doing nothing like we've been doing. He is being productive. So at least there's that. So he has a book. He's also got a Twitch stream, so you can go up and you can take a look there. And so it's nice to see that there is someone else out there that isn't just saying, well, it's not my fault, and this it's so difficult to do, and I just simply can't do it. There is that that practicality to it as well, saying, yes, I know that I'm the main reason why I am the way I am, but it's difficult, and it's not by choice. I mean, in a way, it kind of is, but no one chooses to be this way. No one would ever choose to deal with all the shit that we have to deal with. So, and I think it really is sort of more, along the lines of an addiction or an eating disorder or whatever you want to call it, that, but just like any eating disorder, there is a psychological issue at the root. And dealing with that, I think, is something where, at the very least, addressing it and acknowledging that it's there is one of those things that you really do need to do before anything that we try is going to sort of take root again. I was going to say root again, which it did. For anything that we do is actually going to take effect. And even if it's just a matter of acknowledging it and saying, you know what, for me, I know that the overeating is an issue, but there is, I'm an emotional eater. So when I get depressed or sad or bored, that was the main thing. That's what I would go to. It's like, this will alleviate my boredom. I'll go have, half a dozen sausages and then a pack of bacon and toast and 5 eggs. So just even acknowledging that, so that when it does happen, then you can stop and think and go, okay, and at least know this is why you're doing it, which does help you avoid it a lot of the time. Not every time, but a lot of the time. But it is nice, though, to be able to see that and say, okay, yes, we understand that it's our own fault, but no, we don't choose this. And we addressed this before with the Dear Fat People video from, depending on when you're watching this, a while ago. I'll just put it very vaguely that way. That, being an asshole is not going to fix it. In general, someone giving us advice is not going to fix it. Unless it's someone that's already been there. People that have been thin their entire life, they don't quite understand. But coming out with, so much anger and hatred towards us when it doesn't fucking affect you at all, doesn't make any sense. He does actually bring up a good point, saying that, someone who takes pleasure in, the pain or suffering of another person is not very healthy. Which is true, but if you see someone fall over, I don't care who you are, it's funny. It is hilarious. But generally speaking, I do agree with it. So there is something to be said for that, but I think that's probably for another topic. It's something that we've probably talked about before. But just in regards to what we're looking at on our end, we do have people that we can go to sort of offset those that make fun of us. And if you're having a day, we saw Louise a while ago, Beyond Rubenesque, on one of her videos, just the horrible shit that she had to go through when she was at the gym. When we have something like that happen, where you have a group of people that you can come to, and whether it's me or whether it's someone else in our YouTube playlist, that you can go to and say, you know what, they've gone through the same thing. They understand how rough it is, that it's not just a matter of going, oh, well, yeah, but they're poking fun of you, so what? It cuts. It adds to what we've already been experiencing our entire lives, and it's just sort of, it triggers us to backslide. But being able to go to someone and say, this is what I've gone through, or being able to, even if you're not one of those that's going to sort of reach out to someone, that you can go and you can look that someone else is going through the same thing. Just knowing that there's someone out there that understands and that has gone through it, it does help, because you know that you're not alone. And that might be the one thing that's going to say, okay, well then, you know what? I'm okay. I'm not going to go and eat an entire bag of sour jujubes today. So it doesn't take much to trigger us, but, there are some times where it doesn't take too much to prevent us from doing it either. So, anyway, this is going on far too long. But, go up, take a look. I'm going to put him in alphabetical order again, so it's just going to be under C. So, you can go in, take a look at his other videos, show him some support, let him know that we are out there. and just so that he'll know that he can keep going, and that it's just not going to it's just not going to be sort of a moot point and saying, well, I'm not really making much progress. None of us made any progress when we first started out. It's generally accepted that's how it's going to be, but with the right people behind you and just sort of finding something that works for you, then yes, we'll be able to do it. But I've gone on far, far too long, so I'm going to leave this video here. So thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, please poke the like button for me. In the meantime, keep yourself warm and fuzzy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.